We are beginning to hear some good news, especially regarding employment in the UK. So this was published as at 10th of October 2024, and to be honest, I am super excited about this. I don't know about you. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fajira. If you're seeing this beautiful face for the very first time, I'm so happy to have you all in our beautiful family. For my returning subscribers, thank you for always coming back to watch my videos. I really do appreciate. God bless you. If you're new to this channel, I create content on how you can migrate to the UK immigration updates, jobs in the UK with visa sponsorship, which I'm about to share, some good news regarding employment in the UK, life in the UK, and everything you can think about the UK. So if you're someone who is interested in such content, do hit on that subscribe button, or if you know anybody who may be interested, like and share this video with them, and also do subscribe and join our beautiful family. So in today's video, I'm kind of really excited about this because in the past years I've been in the UK, I've actually been looking forward to this, and I'm grateful that this is going to happen soon. So just as you can see, the Labour Employment Rights Bill, and what key changes will it bring? The Labour Party, which is the new government, announced the new employment rights bills. You know, when you're working in the UK, there are so many rules that govern your employment, but most times we are not really patient to read the offer letter, the employee handbooks, to be able to know the things we're entitled to. So which is why some people are always left out when it comes to employment rights in the UK. The new government is trying to make things easier for employees in the UK. As you can see, improvements to workers' rights to include day one universal sick pay and an end to 0 hours contract and fire and rehire. A lot of people have been fired without even knowing what to do, but this is just going to explain what the Labour Party, which is the new government, they are trying to implement in employment rights, so that if you're working in any organization, you should always read the employee's handbook. Don't leave it, because that's a common mistake most people make when they move to the UK, because you've gotten a job and you think, oh, because I've gotten this job, oh, everything is okay. Until you get into trouble, you won't really understand how important it is to read that employee's handbook, and also go to Gov't website to read about employees' rights at place of work. As you can see on my screen, Labour Employment Rights Bill is the biggest step towards enacting one of its key election offers. Like, you know, so many promises were made. They are beginning to roll them out one after the other to make sweeping changes to rights at work and improve pay. Here are the main details of the legislation, though much of it will take more than 2 years to consult on and implement. So not all of them are going to be implemented immediately, but at any point it's implemented, of course, I'm still very happy that at least they have considered it and they have thought of it and they have said what they want to happen in the next few years and also now. So the first on the list is about day one rights. Day one rights is just starting a job, and you know that from the day you start this job, this is what you're entitled to. You don't have to work for so period to be entitled to such things. As you can see, workers will qualify for protection against unfair dismissal from day one, a benefit for 9 million people. Previously, employees must have been at their place of work for at least 2 years in order to qualify. So if you're working in any organization, then you're not up to 2 years. They can fire you at any time. But from day one, from what the Labour Party have said and the new government have said, from day one, you cannot just be sacked like that. Now, there will also be day one rights for paternity leave and unpaid parental leave. Maternity leave is already a day one right. A full review of all parental leave rights is promised alongside the bill. So for those who usually request for paternity leave, in some organization you have to have worked for a minimum of 26 weeks, which is about 6 months, for you to be qualified for a paternity leave. And in some organization you can't even request for a paternity leave. But from what it is right now, from day one, just like the maternity leave is already a day one right, the paternity leave as well is going to be a day one right, which is good, especially for fathers in the house, for those who are expecting, for those who are still planning to have children. This is a good one for you. Now, an extra 30,000 fathers or partners will be brought into scope for paternity leave, while an additional 1.5 million parents will gain flexibility with unpaid parental leave, becoming a right from day one. There will also be a requirement for employers to establish a policy for bereavement leave. Some organizations, they actually do that. Now the government is looking at it that from day one, you don't have to work in that organization for too long for you to be qualified for this. Now, just as you can see, the next one is a sick pay. I'm sure a lot of you are excited about it. Please like, share this video with your friends, and also do subscribe if you haven't subscribed to join our beautiful family, so you will not miss any of my posts. There will be a universal entitlement to sick pay from the first day of emails from employees. Workers will get rights to sick pay from day one rather than from day 4. In the past, you have to be sick for more than 3 days before you'll be entitled to sick pay, but now they have said from day 1, actual day that you fell ill and you get a sick note from your doctor, you submit the sick note, you will be qualified for sick pay. Please bear in mind that if you're ill and you just say to your company that you're ill without submitting sick notes, you may not be paid. You need that sick note from your doctor to submit to your organization, so always have that in mind. Okay, so statutory sick pay is currently £116.75 a week and can be paid for up to 28 weeks as long as the employee is earning an average of at least £123 a week. So if you earn up to £123 a week, then you're entitled to sick pay of £116.75 a week. The government says this will be strengthened by removing the lower earnings limit for all workers, though the rates could be lower for workers who aren't eligible for sick pay at all. Now, another interesting one now that I know that a lot of people will be interested in is about probation. You know, when you start a new employment, and at my place of work, I work as a center manager, and one of the things that we usually have problem with, especially with the team, is when we are doing the probation review. Now, some companies will say you will be on probation for 3 months, and if you don't pass the probation, you will be dismissed. Some companies will say 6 months, and if you don't pass the probation review, you will be dismissed. And probation review is one review that, for me, I find it as an emotional review, because it's a time you have to tell the employee where they are doing well and where they're not doing well. And imagine you having an employee that is not really doing well. You really need extra courage, because some employee will be so angry, they'll be so upset about what you write on their probation review. So that's when it comes to probation review and performance review, I make sure I do it professionally. So this is a time that people are always worried about, oh, what's going to happen with my probation? And I think some organizations, there are some allowances that comes with that. If you pass your probation, they give you a certain amount. If your performance review is high, you will get some bonuses as well. A lot of employees at that point are very emotional, and if you come to tell them that, oh, you haven't done this job well, it's going to be a big problem. But being in that position, you have to be professional. Now, the government is saying something about probation review. That's when you start a new job, how long you have to stay for them to say, oh, sorry, we are done with you, we can't do anything with you anymore. Government will consult on a statutory probation period for new hires. Employees will still be able to claim for unfair dismissal. Ministers say this means there will be a lighter touch approach to letting an employee go during the probation period if the role is not working out. Now, the probation period will be consulted on and introduced in autumn 2026 to coincide with the enforcement of the new right. The government now favors a limit of 9 months lengthened after pressure from businesses, which caused some disquiet among trade unions, which had asked for a limit of 6 months. Now, the government is talking about increasing it to 9 months, but they said this is going to come into force in autumn 2026, which for me is still a good development. Next one is on 0 hours contract. As you can see, more than 1 million people on 0 hours contract will gain guaranteed working hours if they want them. Those workers, along with those on low hours contract, will have the right to a guaranteed hours contract if they work regular hours over a defined period, which Labour's original proposal said would be 12 weeks. Employees can also request to remain on 0 hours contract if that is what they would prefer. Next one is about fire and rehire. As you can see, fire and rehire practice will be banned in all but the most extreme circumstances, meaning employers cannot sack employees and rehire them on worse terms and conditions. I think they are really trying to make the workspace a safe place for employees, because sometimes some employers, they take advantage of employees, especially if you have newly migrated and they think, oh, this person doesn't know this person doesn't know that. They just take advantage of that. With what they are doing, that they are trying to protect employees as well. So flexible working, the law will change to make flexible working the default, where practical and action plans must be drawn up to address gender pay gaps and to support female employees through menopause. There will also be stronger protection against dismissal during pregnancy and after returning to work from maternity leave. This has affected a lot of people. During pregnancy, you see the employers are looking for a way to terminate their contract because most organizations, they don't want to employ pregnant women, but because the law says there should be no discrimination at the place of work, they just try to manage, but they look for any slightest opportunity to lay them off. But from what the Labour Party is doing now with the new employment rights, there will also be stronger protection against dismissal during pregnancy and after returning to work from maternity. You know, when you're returning to work, if you've been on maternity, you do the keep in touch to get back to work and see how you feel. Some organizations, they don't even admit that. They just bring you in, and once you're not able to function the way you were functioning before you went on maternity leave, you're fired. But with this, it's not going to be that easy again, which is a good news. Guys, like and share this video with your friends and loved ones. Now, enforcement, the bill will establish an enforcement body called the Fair Work Agency, bringing together existing enforcement bodies which will also enforce rights such as holiday pay. The remit of the new body is not likely to be fully clear until all the measures in the bill have been consulted on or enacted. So we're still waiting for that. Then the minimum wage, this is another good news for young people. As you can see, the government plans to change the remit of the low pay commission, so it must take into account the cost of living when setting the minimum wage and remove all the age bands that set lower minimum wage for younger staff. It will mean a pay rise for hundreds of thousands of young workers. You know, with the UK, you're paid according to your age. There's an age bracket, there's a certain amount you'll be paid. Even if you're doing the same job with someone who is 35, you don't earn same amount. But with what they are doing now, the government is trying to look into it, which is a good news as well. So what is missing, as you can see, there are significant gaps in the bill compared to the promises Labour made in its original New Deal for working people, but a document is planned that will promise to implement at least 30 more proposals, including guidance but not legislation, on the right to switch off, preventing employees from being contacted out of hours except in exceptional circumstances. Now, legislation to end paid discrimination, which is expected to come separately in a draft bill that will include measures to make it mandatory for large employers to report their ethnicity and disability pay gap, which is a good one. Now, a consultation on a move towards a single status of work, one of the most important changes that has been left out of the bill, which Labour sources have said needs a much longer consultation period. Review into the parental leave and carers leave system. So these are the things that are missing in the new bills, which the government is actually going to look into. With what they have done and what they are looking at doing, I'm really happy because it's going to help a lot of families, especially those that go to work even when they are ill. At least they know that they can stay at home and get paid. A lot of migrants have passed on because they are sick, they are going to work, they are thinking of, oh, I don't want to take permission, I don't want to have problem with my employer, I don't want to do. But with what is going to happen now, all of those things is going to be reduced, which is very good. So guys, this is just what it is. This is a good news, and I'm sure it's going to benefit a lot of people, like I said, especially migrants that have just moved to the UK that don't really understand their employment rights. Please make sure whatever you do not understand, go to the Gov't website and read about it, and also try to make sure you read your employee's handbook. There are so many informations there that will help you. I remember someone who lost a dad that moved to the UK and she didn't go to take compassionate leave. I was like, just go and find out from your organization, because one of the things I do, I approve such leave for my team. So I was like, just go and ask your organization. I'm sure you will be entitled to 3 days compassionate leave. And thanks be to God, she went and she was entitled to it, full pay. So make sure you read that employee's handbook. When she got that pay, I said, go back and read your employee's handbook, and it was written there So if you are not informed, there are so many things that you're entitled to that you may not know, and you end up missing out at the end of the day. So just make sure that you're informed, and as well, do subscribe and join our beautiful family. We've actually come to the end of this video. Also like and share with your friends and loved ones. Until I see you in my next video, guys, do take care and have a lovely day. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye for now.